Well, greetings, everyone. It's Nick Mike and the marvelous Steve Frazier.
Thank you.
And, guys, we are giving you a commentary for Jaws 2.
We're going back to Amityville.
Amity,
not Amityville.
We ain't going to Amityville, man.
No, Amity.
It's the one trash franchise.
All right. I stand corrected.
We're going on Long Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
Long Jaws here, okay?
The longest Jaws.
So, gentlemen and ladies, if there's any on the channel...
I think there's a few.
Let's hope so. We're not unpleasant.
All are welcome.
All are welcome. But folks, let's get set up with the subtitles. Get your timestamp over to 0 to sync up with our commentary. We'll give you a countdown to get going. So in 3, 2, 1, play.
We've got the fancy new 3-set here.
Yeah, the Blu-ray set. Thankfully,
my voice is recovering a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. Every day's a little better. So I apologize that I'm not 100%, but I'm probably 90%. So. And we do realize that this movie is a very long drama.
Yes.
There's not a ton of action.
No.
There may be moments we don't know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's a bad movie.
Yeah, I was contemplating in my head, okay, there's a delineation between something that has problems and something that is an outright bad movie.
Correct. I'd put this in the former.
Yeah.
To me, this already feels like they're in a tank because the water's so clear.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is actual footage.
Yeah.
Super cool. Mm-hmm. Those schools of fish.
Yeah.
It almost feels like that first shot was like an insert or something. Because
yeah.
I don't know. I have issues with my with my ears.
Yes. We've documented this.
So I can't actually go down very far underwater.
Mm-hmm. Equilibrium.
The pressure, it's more so the pressure than the equilibrium.
Yeah.
My ears just can't handle pressure. So if I go down more than say 10 feet,
yeah,
it just feels like somebody's got a vice.
Yeah, your head's going to explode.
So I tend to I love to snorkel.
Okay.
I've gone on some tropical vacations and kind of done surface level looking down and exploring and grabbing. I would love to be able to, because they're not down very far.
No, not terribly.
And I just have this fear that if I were to scuba dive, it would be, I'd come up with blood in my mask or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't swim, so I have no comment on this situation.
I love underwater exploration.
Oh, it's fun to watch, yeah.
I think shipwrecks are cool. I think the ocean is the scariest place of all time because we don't know what's in there. Yeah. So this, to me, is the ultimate, not the ultimate, but a super adventure.
Yeah.
And I would totally be on this team right here.
Sure.
If
circumstance allowed.
Right. Giant ass underwater camera. What year did this come out now?
78, I think it was.
Okay.
Thoroughly.
I think that technology.
June of 78.
I feel like if it wasn't new, it was very expensive.
I'm sure it was.
Well, clearly they have money because they had this giant-ass boat.
Yes.
And the old Ford Bronco.
Not a solid white Ford Bronco. That's another story.
Yeah, it's got a little extra color. Music by John Williams. So
he steps back in.
And you can hear, it sounds John Williams-y at times.
He has a few extra things onto this, yeah.
I don't know if he kept with that theme of only the shark noise during the shark. I feel they deviate.
I think I picked up a few points where they kind of
they fudged
it.
Yeah.
Falsely clued you in on it. Used it at a point where it wasn't genuine.
Yeah, I don't know. Because they made such a point on it in the first film.
Yeah.
It almost kind of, it feels less than.
Yeah.
These are the two people we have to blame for a 2-hour drama.
Well, there's a lot of things to blame on this one. There's a lot of complications behind the scenes, personnel-wise. Not least
like revolving door type situation, or
the guy who's credited with the director there. It's a hard name to pin down there.
That foreign gentleman.
Yeah, Jeannot here. He wasn't the original director. They had another guy on for the first 3 weeks who was called John D. Hancock, who had apparently done just like a couple of small drama films before this. So he wasn't experienced in big epic filmmaking like this would be. And so he was turning in footage that was a lot more of a darker, more subtle type of story. And the executives wanted a similar tone to the first film. There's a little bit of lightheartedness, there's still little scares here and there. They wanted to make it as close of a tone to the first film, and he wasn't really nailing that. And he got into things with studio executives and stuff like that. There was a lot of clashes about various things, and they kicked him off after the first 3 weeks.
Super cool shot that was, too. That tracked all the way from the outside in the beach into this crane overhead.
Yeah, nice.
Grand opening ball at the Holiday Inn.
Oh, the Holiday Inn.
Everyone loves a Holiday Inn. I don't feel like they touched on in the first film what her job was, or the fact that she had any sort of anything.
I don't think they touched on anything. They mainly just showed her being a wife and a mother.
So some point between now and then, or maybe it just was irrelevant before, she works for the mayor?
Yeah, there's something
or
going
some
on
sort of like
with
city council.
Yeah, something in those lines, yeah. Same damn mayor.
Well, yeah, I mean, they killed the shark, you get reelected.
Well.
Look at the outfit on these attendants or Holiday Inn-ettes.
Yeah, it's a little...
That yellow and green. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me some yellow and green combo.
How about that combo he's got going on?
That is a fantastic combo.
That's a Herb Tarlick look from WKRP.
100%. I cannot wait until I'm 30 years older than I am now so that I can walk around looking like I've just come off the golf course. I don't care for his tie. It's a little too wide. It's a little color blocky. She seems really excited about the fact that she just cut that ribbon for the balloon drop. Scholarship fund benefit. Now, Steven Spielberg was obviously too busy to do this, or did he have no interest?
Well, when they got rid of the first director, there was at least something with Spielberg. Well, I was reading something about Spielberg. He was working beforehand in between things about like doing a script about the USS Indianapolis thing.
Okay.
But I guess the studio decided, no, we don't want to go with that route or anything like that. And I think there's maybe a rumbling somewhere in there when they're having the trouble with the director and everything, but he ended up being involved with Close Encounters and everything, so he was contractually indisposed.
Yeah.
Scheider's tie is all crooked.
It seems to be kind of an ongoing theme in our commentaries where people don't...
There was someone with a crooked tie in another commentary.
You know, it was Silent Night, Deadly Night.
That was it.
It was the cop.
Yeah.
We're doing this whole thing now where we're going to make this one about the teenagers, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there was a critic or two that commented that as it goes along, it feels more kind of almost... These are not reviews of the time, obviously, later on, but look almost like a proto Friday the 13th template in that way. It's like, okay, we're going to throw a couple disposable teens as cannon fodder, even though most of them will survive the film, which doesn't work out too well, but...
We do spend a really long time here kind of getting to know the entire cast of characters.
Right.
And these two dorks are some of my favorites, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to be friends with both of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
At Napoleon Dynamite, and I can't even make a comparison to the guy on the right.
No.
He's got a terrible shirt.
Yeah.
He's got 70s hair. Anyway, so we spend all this time on the teenagers, and as we go along, like, the teenagers don't even get into peril, really, until 3/4 of the way through the movie.
And it's not that sustained of a peril either.
So, I don't know, and I'm sure I'll probably bring this up later.
Sure,
but maybe I'll just shoot my load right now and say the biggest problem with this movie is that it's the exact same, like, it's 2 hours worth of the first half of Jaws 1.
Sure, yes.
So, we spend all of this time, and I realize I should say that it's going to sound more like a recap, but we spend all of this time with, I don't believe there's actually a shark.
Yeah,
which
I want to touch on that later, too.
We do all of this, we do all this. Finally, there's, we believe you, let's go after the shark.
Right.
That happens at, like, the hour 48-minute mark of this movie. So
it feels like
this entire movie is just a rehash of the first half of Jaws 1.
And you don't have the far more compelling elements of the second half with Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss and the character dynamics that make it a
like actual
compelling
action.
Yeah, right. A captivating drama, character piece, adventure epic of sorts.
Okay, so we've revealed. Well, we revealed in the very opening scene that there's a shark.
Right.
How or why it is related to the original shark, undetermined.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, it's pretty.
The film still has some inspired visual moments to it. Motorist.
Ha! There he is.
There he is again, man.
There he is, the motorist. Check out our commentary for Clue in the archives if you haven't already. He was the motorist that shows up and gets lead piped in the... He was Colonel Mustard's driver in the war, you see.
Yes.
There's more green and yellow I could get behind. I can't tell what kind of traps those are. I don't believe they're lobster traps.
No.
I think there's some other kind. We do have a little bit of a... They try really hard to make the brother relationship like a theme of this movie. It's not really... I
mean, a lot of these points, you can see what they're attempting to get to. It's just not captivating. And it doesn't have the... It doesn't move at the right clip to have the energy that you need to keep up with the characters and everything, to keep the momentum of the story going. We're not kind of sagging down as places as the film will.
This guy on the left keeps reminding me of what is Shelley from Friday 3. Yeah. Interestingly, these two have probably the most personality of everyone we've met so far.
Yeah.
They went out of their way. Like, there was that whole scene of, from the mayor saying, let me introduce you to my son. So, like, let's add in another character. Like, we just want to make sure we introduce all of these people.
Yeah.
And this gal here, the one who's just shown up and everybody's infatuated with, I don't know. Like, I wasn't around in 1978. I don't know if this lady...
She was some kind of someone of note, you mean?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, her appearance being, like, somebody that everybody wanted to be with.
Yeah.
Like, she's cute.
Yeah, I like... I mean, both in a physical appearance, but I also think as the film goes along, she puts a really good performance in the film.
I agree.
I really enjoy her in it.
It's just interesting to me that... Like, I don't think
that they're kind of fawning like she's a Farrah Fawcett,
right? And I don't know if she's any more special than, say, that girl that was.
Yeah, she's very down to earth, girl next door, as you like.
Well, I do like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's my type. God, I remember being a kid and just loving water balloons, and now I think they're stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God, I want to be his friend. That's me, right there. Reading a book, not having a good time.
All the patterns in this.
Look at the nose on the guy on the right. Holy Christ.
Big old beak. Like all
Jesus,
pockmarked freaking nose there. Jesus.
The Jimmy Durante Nose Award of 1978. I also am kind of upset that our boy here brings in this camera, says, "Oh, we found this."
Where did you find it? You would have had to get it from the bottom of the ocean.
Well, he said they were talking about that abandoned yacht. Okay. And so they were out there searching the area.
Okay.
And then they found the camera.
Sure.
So why isn't the first step immediately develop the film?
Develop the film. Yeah, they don't do that for another hour.
I know.
Yes.
Which is part of the fatal flaw of this movie.
Yeah, right. The other thing that could have quickened the pace a tad bit more.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, okay. All of the future entries into this franchise are 90 minutes.
Uh-huh. It's such a thing. You see when they cut back to Scheider, those scenes... It's just kind of inherent in how they're approaching those scenes. Like that scene with Scheider there, it felt like it had some energy to it. They were kind of moving around with the Steadicam and everything like that. It had a quick rapport and pacing to it.
It had comedic timing because of his interaction, his quick wit.
Right. Yeah. Cut back to this, it's a lot more slow. It doesn't really have much of a point to it. It just kind of
show kids playing.
Right. It just lingers there.
Now, if the shark comes and bites his ass,
right.
Now we have action.
A point to it, a purpose to it.
And I think they do cock tease us a little bit here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it just narrowly misses or something.
Yeah, there's... I think it's somewhere... I think the first kill might be the speedboat.
Aside from the initial opening act.
The water ski bit, maybe, yeah.
Because, I mean, I guess they did open the movie with... But they didn't show it.
They didn't... No,
the two divers.
Yeah, they didn't show the kill. Yeah.
Which, I guess, stylistically, you know, if you're going to have that camera angle where the camera takes the photo...
POV, yeah.
Okay, but... Again, we're in a genre picture.
Right.
Where you want to establish the genre in the first little bit.
Right, because you see the opening sequence of the first film, they have the whole thing. Well, they don't show the shark, but they show her thrashing around everything. It's violent and scary.
Absolutely.
This one builds up a little suspense at the top, but it doesn't pay it off.
Yeah, I guess
you don't get that jolt of energy, just like being shaken at the beginning. They don't get that terror at the beginning.
It's kind of a jump scare almost.
Right.
Which, I don't know. I'm kind of over jump scares because that's the way of the world now.
Yeah. I mean, this director was kind of the director who handled the bulk of the photography and everything like that after the first guy got canned. He was kind of going with what they kind of mentality that kind of deflates me in certain ways. Like, okay, oh, they already know what the shark looks like, so let's not hide the shark this time. We can't be as good as the original, so we're not going to try to even top it or anything. So it's like, okay, so you're just going to set up for bargain basement or something like that? You're just going to not even try to keep up with it a little bit? You're not going to try to be ambitious to kind of come up with something that might be as good, or maybe something maybe a little bit better, or something a little more...
Either stylistically
right,
or...
something more creative or something like that. Put a little bit more effort into it. Like, okay, hey, they did this the first one. Maybe we tried something like this, or whatever the case is, or something. Just approach it in a way it's like, okay, you can still do what the first film did. Keep the shark back and keep that suspense going, and just have it go to follow the story in a different direction or something. You can still employ the same tricks of suspense and tension.
Like, that's a good shot.
Yeah.
I almost wish this had been the opening scene.
Sure, this would have worked.
They used the water ski shark imagery as the poster.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the poster child of this movie,
sure.
Right? And I don't know if maybe that segues into the discussion about how the tagline for this movie was...
just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Which has become heralded as one of the greatest taglines and has been spoofed.
And a lot of people don't even realize it's for Jaws 2.
Right.
It makes sense for Jaws 2, but people don't really think... They just blanket think Jaws. They don't think specifically this film.
Which...
Because it's been kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it's been bastardized and recreated
it's been parodied,
twisted and turned and oh, got him. It's interesting to me how in some instances a tagline for a movie can be more memorable than the movie itself, such as this, or can be completely forgotten, you know.
Because I was thinking, like, okay, there was a certain time where, like, a tagline would be like, well, this time it's personal.
Sure.
Then Terminator 2 has this throwaway tagline that no one remembers, where on the poster says, well, it's nothing personal. It's not witty enough to make a joke about it.
Yeah,
it never worked.
That doesn't work for me.
You're just like, oh, well, let's twist around. Okay, now in this sequel, it's nothing personal. Well, it's not really... It's not funny. It's not witty. It's not clever. It's just, okay, no one remembers that tagline except me.
Is this supposed to be her mother? I think it is.
It was a weird thing, 'cause she looks a lot like Ellen Brody, too.
Right.
I was like, is that supposed to be her? It's like, no, that's not her.
And some of these shark sequences look very real.
The shark looks worse in this film.
Well, some of
they had more than double the budget of the first film, and the shark looks worse.
Like, those cutaway shots, I think, are an actual shark. This, obviously, not a real shark. Yeah. But some of those insert shots, again, with the twisting and the gyrating, she shot her own boat with a road flare, and now she's burning up. The shark...
It blows up for no reason.
Well, she dumped the gasoline on herself.
Yeah, like that. Gasoline doesn't explode.
That's true.
Cars don't explode all the time.
Right. Especially when they're in midair coming off the cliff. Either way, this whole sequence, exciting. Like, it visually...
It's one of the few exciting things in the first, 45 minutes.
We're at, the 20-minute mark.
Yes.
And, I don't know, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah. Man, Scheider did not want to do this movie.
It kind of shows.
He did out of contractual obligation. And, okay, he did out of contractual obligation, but he was fine doing what the original director. But once they got the new director on, it all blew up.
So the 3 weeks...
They had a physical altercation.
With the guy that replaced the guy that was there for 3 weeks.
Right.
Okay.
The original guy they had on, he was fine with the second guy they got on. They were combative and argumentative. They finally had this one, okay, we're going to sit down in private with a couple other people on the film, and they got almost to blows or something like that. They were just not having it. Scheider was not having it with the guy. But I can still say he doesn't bring the BS on screen. He might not be as good as the first film. But
that's probably more of a script limitation than it is him.
Right. But there are actors who could, like, I'm having a miserable time on this film, I don't want to do this. They'll phone it in, or they'll be really off the whole thing, but he's not. He's a very professional actor in this whole thing.
And unfortunately, they've got him kind of like already suspicious that something is afoot.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, like, at what point, even having gone through the events of the first film, what would lead anybody to believe that a boat that exploded wasn't anything more than some sort of electrical accident or,
right.
Like, why would you lead immediately to shark?
Right. There's no evidence of that.
Which they never said. They didn't show him or have him say that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
He is a generally suspicious character.
Right.
Old Man in the Sea. And they're building a lot of suspension, and then having the the black cat jump out
for something that's not going to pay off for another hour and 20 minutes.
Right, but to their credit, they at least set it up.
They at least set it up
to explain that these things are there.
Yes.
See, I mean, they've at least given us a premise.
Yeah, right.
But if they went in and dove in the deeper water around the yacht for the divers, why wouldn't they just dive here and look for the wreckage of the boat?
Why are you sweeping the bottom? What are you expecting to grab at the bottom?
I do like a Honey Nut Cheerio. Do you like Cheerios?
I don't think I've ever had them.
You've never had a Cheerio?
No.
What's wrong with you?
No. But yeah, okay. Well, what is it specifically that they're looking for at the bottom of the ocean? Because a body would rise, would float. If they were looking for bodies, they'd be floating on the surface.
Wreckage, probably. It's got to be the wreckage.
Well, I don't know which wreckage because the yacht was intact. So I'm just.
They were searching for the jet skier or the water skier boat is what they were. Okay. That was the area that they were dredging for.
Okay. All right.
But. Again, I mean, aside from wanting to see the wreckage of the boat and figure out
wreckage is not terribly important.
Yeah, they never found bodies, so maybe they were looking for the skier and the...
Yeah, I don't know.
We got angsty teenager. We got these two who they keep showing, like... potentially getting it on, but then never actually getting it on. Unless that's what they were doing up there in the lighthouse.
Well.
And then they're just going to stumble on this?
Yeah, as if they couldn't see that 20 yards away.
Or smell it?
Smell like crazy.
Look, I mean, as a prop or a set piece, that looks fantastic.
It looks pretty.
But look where it is on the beach.
Right.
And you're telling me that all of these boats here on the left couldn't just see that? Unless those are the people that just arrived.
Yeah.
But still, nobody saw this thing? I take umbrage with stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not logical. It takes me out of the movie.
Right. I mean, the fact that no one's like choking on the stench of it is a particular acting choice. More of a directing choice because you'd have to direct all the actors in this scene to kind of react that way.
Well, we got a couple of girls on the right. There's a couple.
Okay, there's a few backgrounds. Yeah, but they're not all consistent.
Our motorist there, he's really got a stink face on him, huh?
Yeah.
this point, I could see him, like, this would turn the light switch on to make him suspicious.
He does, because he wants to measure the bite radius and everything.
But I'm saying I feel like he was already suspicious before
right.
You know, I don't know if it was the exploding skier, if it was just his general dislike of the water.
Well, yeah, it could be just the whole thing of a sense of trauma or whatnot. It's like, okay, everything they went through in the first film, and now there's something else kind of wrong going out there. It would just immediately trigger something in him. It doesn't even have to be a logical thing. It just has to be sort of a
trigger, an emotional trigger.
Yeah, just a knee-jerk reaction type of thing. A feeling inside of him that makes him skip a beat in his heart or something. Yeah, I mean, you can see a little salty. He's playing a little fear in the whole thing. That's also running through his head.
I also have no ability to remember which are fish and which are mammals. I know that dolphins are mammals.
Mm-hmm. They have a blowhole. They'd be a mammal, I imagine.
Okay, that's a
my
good
generalization.
That's a good distinction.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it. I have a blowhole. I'm a mammal.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. And this is some decent exposition to kind of set up, future. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than when Cooper comes in the first film and he's detailing the science of it all.
Right. Having conversation between an expert and a novice is a great way to tell the audience what's happening exposition-wise and not make it sound like really stupid conversation.
That whale came in way off the shoreline, though, man. I don't think the tide is that much, man. It looked like a good 40 yards from the shoreline.
It's weird because on that overhead shot, it looked like it was right on the water.
Yeah.
But everywhere else,
in the wide,
it's like behind a dune.
Yeah. Oh.
This is...
We'll mark that comment for...
Let's timestamp it. Sharks don't take things personally, Mr. Brody. Which...
He'll be long gone from the franchise before that comes out.
I disagree because I would like to enter into evidence that this entire film is based on the idea that a second shark just roamed in and he feels that it's personally out to get the Brody family.
Okay, well, let's go with that. The screenwriters end up going with that anyway, so...
Clearly they made a choice to address the issue because they put it in the dialogue.
Sure.
Here's his everyday mayoring outfit.
Yes.
He actually looks professional.
Yes. Oh, shit. You don't want to hear that shit.
And we are again... we can kind of document the parallels here to the first film.
Sure, yeah.
Where, the only difference is Larry lived through the first film.
Yes. Suffered some consequences. Well, not terrible consequences because he still got a job, but he witnessed certain things happening with that because of his inaction towards Brody's insistence earlier in the events of the first film.
So instead of it being entrepreneurial, we can't close the beach because we need to make money.
There's none of that in this film. This might be...
It's just, I don't believe you because it can't happen twice. You know what I mean?
That's the thinnest of reasons he's giving here. He's like, oh, I'm not going to do anything unless you give me some proof.
He even just right there said, we're not going to do anything. don't press it this time.
Right.
Don't you think you'd be more cautious?
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, for example, when we had a terrorist attack on an airplane, we increased security on airplanes.
Yes.
You don't go, Yeah. I don't know.
You're not all passive about the situation.
Take it easy this time.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean there's another threat?
Right.
We already went through that once. We'll pretend that that's not an issue anymore.
Right. It's simply says it's a form of lazy screenwriting. Because you need to have, because I don't know what you could easily have that as a catalyst point into. It's a little slow getting into a second act here or something like that, but you could easily talks to the mayor. Mayor gives him license to do what he has to and see what we have to do to curb the situation, and then we have a 90-minute movie.
I would say even if the mayor said, I hear you.
Let's be cautious.
Be cautious, but because we don't have proof yet. Get me proof, and then
let's be cautious, but let's be protective of people. Let's keep it quiet, but let's be cautious and make sure everything goes out. Because
he basically said, "Don't overreact."
Yeah, because I mean they don't establish. There's obviously at least sometime during the summer, but they don't pinpoint.
Right.
May, June, July, or something like that. But we don't see too many instances of lots of people on the beach. There's a few montages here and there.
Right.
And we have the whole thing a little later on. They do have the whole scene where, Brody goes off the handle or anything, but it's not it's not as big of a thing as it was in the first film. Like, we need the summer dollars and people coming in on the holiday and everything.
I like the little thing where he took his hand and waved at it like he's coaxing it to come in.
Right, he doesn't want to go that far into the damn water.
Now, here's my issue with this whole scene.
Yeah.
They did a wide shot to specifically show you that there's nobody around for a mile and a half.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just take your pants off? Who cares? There's nobody there. You don't need to be modest.
Yeah.
And even if you did, bathing suits are bathing suits. Instead, now you don't have to. Oh, Jesus. You don't have to worry about losing your cell phone. Or,
no.
In this era, a lot of people didn't even put wallets in their pockets. They just left it on the glove compartment, or you know what I mean?
Sure.
So he literally has nothing in his pocket. And to me, I've actually had an incident where I got wet in a body of water with a cell phone in my pocket. Sodium cyanide poison. And a really long, drawn-out shot of this.
At least a friend of mine kind of viewed Brody as having a sort of PTSD on this film.
I could see that, sure.
So you could probably say maybe him being trepidatious about going into the water even that deep down to the waist level was something, and obviously this coating the bullets with cyanide is obviously a little bit more
extreme.
Yeah.
I had no idea that you could do this, by the way.
Me neither. Put the cyanide on the thing and then
wax it on?
Yeah, wax tip.
I mean, that's really cool,
It's interesting, yeah. Sounds almost like old, soldier trick or something. Some kind of something. An army trick.
That's a very similar hat to the one he wore in Clue. Maybe not.
Yeah, he had to have a brown leather.
It was more like an Indiana Jones,
yeah, closer to that. Look at Scheider, man. He's kind of put together on this one.
Yeah, he's pretty toned. Cheers to you, sir, with a cup of coffee. Any time of day is the right time of day. They always kind of made it out to be these are the only two cops on the entire island.
Yeah, there's maybe one background guy somewhere, but yeah, ain't much going on with this force. Yeah, well, maybe it wasn't an hour in, but certainly.
Yeah, it's now been. I don't know.
Well, he's telling him to do it now, but I don't think he actually gets the
Yeah, it was 15
photographs
minutes
until maybe another 15 minutes from now.
But it's way too long between these story beats.
Right. If you did cut all the stuff with the teenagers, it would kind of come together a lot better.
Got the old Atari going there, or whatever. It might not even be Atari. It might have been...
I don't know.
Is that strictly Pong? Like, wasn't
no
Pong
idea
its
what
own?
that is. In 78?
And this is a nice little touch.
Yeah. They couldn't get Dreyfuss back, obviously.
I don't know what he was working on. Maybe they didn't try. But it does make logical sense.
Well, isn't Dreyfuss in Close Encounters? Well, you probably haven't. He's the lead in Close Encounters.
I think that's correct, but I don't know when that came out.
Well, that was the same year.
Well, that's why he wasn't available here. He was with Spielberg on the other one.
Yeah.
But as a logical story arc, to me, I think, well, we've had the chief here. He's been in this situation before. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you can't call Quint. But the guy that helped me survive the last incident, let me call him for advice.
Right.
And how do we explain that he's not there? Phone call. He's stuck in the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah, he's floating on a boat somewhere.
Which, given his character,
right,
makes sense.
Thoroughly.
So that's a good out. I like
it's
that.
A good out, yeah.
Beached. Which makes me almost think that it's the beginning of summer.
Yeah. Closer to Memorial Day or something.
Gotta put sunscreen on, kid.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they got that lady's permission. Or did they just shoot B-roll on the beach?
They probably grabbed a bunch of local people for extras and say, hey, we're going to be filming here.
Isn't it interesting, though, that they just decided to do, here's a bunch of, average people eating on the beach.
Yeah.
Ooh, sugar daddy. Did you see that sugar daddy? I love a sugar daddy. Gratuitous asses.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks, the guy that can't figure out how to take a picture. Yeah. A bunch of good-looking teens. Let's make it look... I want to be here.
Yeah. Might be going on just a bit long.
There's way too much.
You could chop the montage in half.
Do we need it? We don't need any of this. It's the beach. We all been to the beach. Right. We know what the beach is like. We all want to be at the beach. Right. Except him.
You don't want to be here, man.
Looks like Kirk Douglas.
Scheider does not want to be here. Yeah, because he had a 3-picture deal with Universal. He did a film before this. And I guess there was another film that he was going to be in, but he stepped out at I think it was Deliverance. He was going to be in Deliverance, but he stepped out of it a few weeks ahead of time.
Scheider was going to be in Deliverance?
Yeah.
Really?
But then Universal say, hey, we want to do Jaws 2. If you do Jaws 2, we'll count it as 2 films, and then your contract will be fulfilled.
Well, it is 2 films. Jaws 1 and Jaws 2 are 2 different films.
Well, no, if you just... This was after Jaws.
Oh, I see.
He didn't have a contract to come back for a sequel from the first film. He had a contract with Universal...
So in order to get out of his 2-picture deal...
He did William Friedkin Sorcerer with them. Then he stepped out of Deliverance, but say, hey, we want to do Jaws 2... If you do that film,
we won't have you do the third.
This as 2 films under your contract, and you'll be done.
You're absolved from the third one. Got it.
It's too much suit for this day. It's too warm up for a suit. 3-piece.
Yeah, but he's canoodling these.
Yeah, still, you could be a little more relaxed on it.
And he's a terrible painter, this bastard.
Yeah, it's sloppy.
What are you painting?
Staining?
Sloppy. I don't know. You're fired, you dumb prick.
Good. You'll be happy to be fired.
Never mind, you're hired.
There's floor on them.
I know. That old man, he looked great. He looked great. Floral patterns were so in this time.
Patterns were everything in the 70s, man. Just gaudy as hell.
Look at all the fun I'm not having because I'm poorly staining this deck.
Just slop it around.
Yeah, what? I don't even understand. What are you doing?
He's got a bat. The one on the left's got not good hair on the good guy.
On the left?
Hair's not working out.
It's a little... Oof. Yeah. It's poofy on the top there.
Yeah.
He needs some conditioner.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess they didn't call it conditioner then. It was cream rinse.
Okay, that's a new one to me.
Oh, you've never heard cream rinse?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's what conditioner used to be called. Respectable shirt tie combo on the left guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And on the mayor.
Mayor's looking.
Yeah, they both look good. I'm down.
Hey, put me on 3-piece in a summer day, I'd be sweating my ass off.
You know, I don't know. I wore a suit for so long, all year round, that I don't know. $6 to rent a bicycle all day is not bad.
No.
Are those changing tents on the left? Is that the idea?
I believe so.
You go in and you...
Yes.
I see that being a lot of, like, I don't know if you could do that now.
Mm.
Just put a changing tent on the beach. I feel like people would be like, oh, you can't do that.
There's too many perverts around.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were plenty of perverts around back then. We just didn't know about them as
right, because they didn't have Twitter.
Right.
Every one of those people would have a camera phone, and then you can't have that on the beach because...
Post on Tumblr or something.
Right, you'd post pictures of strangers getting naked on the beach. That does not look like a shark.
No.
That looks like a sandbar. Is it moving? Maybe. Well, I guess it's not a sandbar. But that looks like a manatee? What? I don't even know.
It's not. No, it doesn't look like a shark. There we go.
Okay, so we're at the point now in recreating Jaws 1.
Yes.
Where we've panicked.
Yes.
You know, they had that great rack focus shot, you know?
Beautiful stuff there. Not as much here. She just have like a slide that goes down or something. Just a pole.
Oh, yeah, the fireman pole. That'd be tremendous. Now, I don't recall the exact beats of the first one, but at least at this point in the first one, the little boy had been eaten to death, right?
Yeah, because they have the kids out there who are playing games with the fake shark fin, and then there's a thing in the pool with his kid.
On the side
and that's where all that
lagoon.
stuff goes down. That's where it escalates.
Kittner or whatever.
Yeah.
So aside from our two divers at the beginning and our skier, who is eaten,
and the speedboat driver,
and the mother blew herself up. She did not get eaten by the shark.
No, she did not get eaten. She
blew herself up in the boat.
No, he looks like a psychopath.
And this, like, I get this beat as a story arc.
It's a good character beat. I like it. Because you can kind of feel it when you see him up there looking at that. It's like, at least in that moment, especially, they don't use that theme from Williams.
Right.
So it's nice that they didn't try to push it that hard.
But again,
but you do feel like, okay, he is doing extreme reactions here.
It still feels exactly like the first film to me, though.
Right.
Even though the circumstances are different, the actions are basically the same.
Yeah.
Well, instead of overly caution because I know it exists, it's overly cautious because I've been through it before.
Right.
Who cares?
We'll give him the evil eye.
There are no more bullets left in that gun.
Should count it.
That is really great sand. They made a comment earlier about look at the sand.
This is a nice beat. I like this beat.
This kid is really cute.
There's a lot more than 6 shells down there. There's like 8. He picked up like 4 of them already.
That's 1 + 2 + 2 + 1.
It's really nice. I like it.
Again, no words necessary.
Yeah.
That is a heartbreaking scene.
Yeah.
With no dialogue.
It's great.
Really well done.
I mean, I was reading critic quotes and everything, and I will agree with Gene Siskel on a rare occasion.
Sure. No, Siskel's the good one.
Okay.
Fuck Roger Ebert.
Yeah. Ebert called this film pure trash, which I think is a little overblown.
Well,
but Siskel was more kind of like paraphrasing here or whatnot.
Sure, go ahead.
Basically saying the film works when Scheider's on screen. When the main lead of the film is on screen, it works. When you transfer away from him with the kids, everything like that, it doesn't have, it's not as engaging of a film.
Well,
and it's even, I mean, even like I said earlier, how they're, even that one scene where they had a lot of energy and rapport and the quick and everything like that. But even here, I mean, the filmmaking style when you're dealing with an actor like Scheider, regardless of the combative nature or whatnot, they're still presenting him as purposeful, dramatic scenes. They feel like they got some weight to them. They know where the core of the story is, and that's what Scheider's character. The kids are just kind of there to kind of fill up the plot for more or less.
It's interesting because he's clearly our main character, right?
Oh, by no doubt. I mean, he got a big pay bump on this thing. I think they said he tripled his base pay on this film. So,
well, I mean, as far as like a screenwriting structure,
right? I mean, who else would you want to make it?
Right, you can't
get the Quint's gone and Dreyfuss is off. So I mean, you're going to make as much as you can out of Brody.
And it's his story that we're telling.
Yeah,
is my point.
Right.
Which is why the film works when he's on screen, because it's his story.
Yeah, it's written and directed that way, and is acted that way, and just like.
So again, when we put all the kids on the screen, and they're intended to be, body count,
right?
But then you don't actually pay it off because you don't kill any of them.
Right, there's maybe 2 or 3 that get off, and there's like 8 of them altogether.
So far, we've had officially 3 deaths by shark, and only 1.5 were shown on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, the shark terrorized the mom of the jet skier,
sure,
and whatever.
Right.
But, in her crazy thrashing around, she dumped gasoline on herself and on the shark and then blew up her own boat.
Yeah.
Now, they did do that whole thing where they gave a burn to the shark face.
Yeah.
To kind of give it a little character, like Scar or, one of those.
Even watching this before, it's like, okay, I couldn't see much in the photograph myself. I mean, watching it again now, I can see the intent. Yeah, they focus in on the eye of the shark, but even then, I can see just like, okay, yeah, just put the scene in a vacuum.
Well,
it's not as definitive of a thing.
I like that anything. Though. Right. I like that though, because it does actually give credibility to the idea that he, is trying to fit his own narrative.
Right.
But
with his experience with the whole thing, he's been damn near nose to nose with the goddamn shark that was 25 feet long. He knows what the look of the eye of a shark looks like.
I just think it would have been better. Here, I'm going to rebook the territory.
Sure.
I think it would have been better just in this scene had they shown the camera, us, the audience, the picture, even if it was from afar, for us to go, oh, that's not a picture of a shark. And then when he explains it to the mayor, and then they do a zoom in, we can go, oh, actually, I do see it now.
Right.
Even if they don't believe it, the audience can go, yeah, I see that.
Because they're playing so much the film as Brody's perspective, so we're behind Brody. We're in his mind, we're in his perspective of everything. So when you got all these other characters like dismissing him and saying, oh, there's not really a shark out there or something like that, just makes them seem kind of stupid.
Yeah.
From the perspective we're seeing the film through, it just it doesn't make any sense. It's very convoluted in that regard.
Especially since...
I mean, go ahead.
The mayor already said, like, I don't want to blow this out of proportion. He didn't say we don't have proof.
Right.
But, like, to treat Brody as if he's crazy and overreacting to every, twitchy or whatever.
Right.
Gun shy or, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like...
As I touched upon, probably some sort of trauma that he's kind of reflecting on and stuff like that. It's triggered something in him that triggered a deep down inherent fear that he doesn't want to go through this again. He doesn't want to see anyone else get killed because of this again.
I just feel like it's not enough for everyone else to go, oh, he's crazy.
To just shut him down altogether.
Yeah.
They should at least give him some kind of slack to be able to go out there and do something about the situation.
I love a good pinball machine. I love a slot machine too, by the way. That's Freudian slip, because, man, if I could gamble on a pinball machine, that would be tremendous. Here's these two again. You got a little little thin pizza there on the left. Only one slice apparently eaten, that they just kind of shoved it around in the... My grandma used to have glasses similar to those.
I think the main problem with these characters here is that they don't have a story.
Well, Mike has a story.
Mike has it, but then there's 10 other characters floating around in the whole thing. It's too drowned out.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It seems like they're multiplying with every scene.
Yeah.
Like gremlins. So they're going to get into the water. Then we'll have like a whole ton of them.
Yeah, then forget it. She's got kind of a young Sally Field quality, which I dig.
I like the retro hairstyle. I like the old hairstyles, man. Just something about them. It's really cute. Works for me, man.
Yeah, she's really stringing him along there.
Yeah.
And he's a good-looking kid,
yeah.
and she's good-looking. I get it.
Yeah.
I really like this scene.
I think he's got one of them barrels. As a planter.
Yeah. That is one of the... Is that a quint?
Sure as hell looks like
That's a quint barrel. I've never noticed that.
I just saw that. Ubar, get them barrels ready.
Tremendous.
Didn't they swim to shore? Or
yeah,
was it one of the barrels or just a bit of driftwood?
I don't remember, but...
Yeah. With the wallpaper she's got going on.
It's so bad. It's really, really bad wallpaper.
No, it's too much.
Way too busy.
Lots of birds.
Everything else in the room is nautical themed.
Yeah, I was going to say that. They got the thing over there. They got pictures of
wallpaper,
sailing boats.
Wallpaper does not appear to be nautical. It just is busy.
Yeah, there's just birds on it.
Great scene there where he pins it on.
Oh, yeah.
On the other guy.
Yeah, he's already gotten a few drinks in him, I feel.
Oh yeah, because they go out to the truck.
Yeah.
I guess that's in the morning.
Yeah.
Toast to the new... I think he plays this scene very well. Look at all of that whiskey. That's a lot of whiskey, sir.
That's a lot to drink into.
That's 4 or 5 fingers.
He's already loosened up a little.
And I do really like that they keep calling him Chief.
Yeah.
You know, when you have kind of a mainstay in the community.
Yeah.
It would be very shocking if that person was no longer in position.
Right.
They got some music by Chicago on the piano.
That's not bad.
I think that's the Carpenters logo on the left, the red one.
Chicago would still have Cetera right now, wouldn't they? 78?
Yes, yeah.
Ooh, Cetera. That's a voice. Whew.
It would have been very hard to create that photo, I think. Like, how do you create a photo? Like, as a prop.
Yeah.
As a prop. How do you make the photo that is legitimately the eye of the shark, but is so vague?
Yeah, it'd take a lot of particular skill to make something that's a little bit ambiguous.
Yeah, and I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's so convinced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 4 years down the drain.
Right.
So you're telling me that he was only the mayor, or I'm sorry, the chief for like a year prior to the events of 1?
Mm-hmm.
He feels like more of a cornerstone of the community.
Well,
to me,
in the first film, they were still talking about how they were almost kind of still adapting from coming in from New York and everything like that.
Okay.
So, I could see that.
Yeah, maybe.
It was maybe his first summer with them and everything like that. So I can feel that.
That actually adds even more depth to that story.
Yeah.
Which just makes it even more of a perfect film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's tremendous.
Oh, too good.
I'm pretty sure that, assuming that conventions and that kind of thing can resume in the near future, I'm pretty sure that Richard Dreyfuss is scheduled to be at an event that I'm thinking about attending.
And he had just started up about the last 2 years or so.
Yeah, doing the convention circuit.
Yeah.
And I don't recall, you know what, in fact, our friend Trent, shout out to Trent Zuberi, got to meet him.
Yeah, he did.
At a recent convention that he volunteered at, and all the volunteers got to meet the talent.
That's
So, super cool.
Yeah.
I saw him at that event. I saw Trent at that event. I saw Richard Dreyfuss at that event.
Okay.
I did not pay to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall what the going rate was, if it was like $75 or $100 or something for his autograph, which in the grand scheme seems on par with, talent of his stature.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering, because he's the only surviving member left of the original
Scheider
main.
passed about 2008 or so.
Yeah, and old Quint's been gone for.
I think he passed away the same year this film came out.
He died way back.
Yeah, someone said he passed 3 years after the first movie.
So I don't know. I'm kind of considering meeting Dreyfuss. This is
August of '78, so he passed away about 2 months after this film came out. He was a heavy drinker and everything like that, so that took him in.
I think they did a good job also creating this
dynamic.
He really looks up to his big brother.
Yeah.
And I've never. You have a sibling.
Yeah, my sister.
Is she older than you?
3 years older.
Okay. Now, when you were little, did you look up to her as you wanted to tag along? And
I tagged along all over the place.
So
she would be with her friends. I want to tag along and stuff like that. I mean, we always get along.
Okay. Because I know that this exists. I don't have this in my life where. Yeah, pawn off the little dude on the friends so that we can get the hotties in our boat.
Yeah.
The girl in the blue here looks just like another character from probably from Friday 2. I don't remember her character's name, but she had a very similar hairdo and face structure. And I can't remember her name, to be honest. But all of these people remind me of characters that we've seen in other horror movies we've already covered that haven't even come out yet.
Yeah.
It stinks that, like, at any point, we're an hour in.
Yeah.
Can we get a few more people eaten by a shark, for Christ's sake?
Nothing is happening.
Nothing
Consequences happen for a half an hour. Maybe 37 minutes or so.
And we still have 45, 50 minutes left of this thing.
Oh, yeah. 50 minutes to the end of the end credits.
And I will buy, nervous dad says kid can't go out on the lake or ocean or whatever.
Sure.
Kid defies dad, goes out, gets in.
Very, very believable.
Yeah, it's kind of basic storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. It's great. Mm-hmm. We just need some shit to happen here.
We need some action.
Because at this point, we're still in the first half of Jaws 1.
Right. By this point in the first film, we're already on the orca out there doing shit.
Right. The midpoint of Jaws 1 was, let's go kill the shark.
Yeah.
Where the three of them get on the boat and they go out to sea on their mission.
Now we have more random characters just floating around.
Dive school. Okay, fine. I don't recall what the purpose of this is. Does somebody get eaten here? Because
one guy gets the bends.
Okay.
That's basically it. He gets scared by the shark and gets the bends, and they have to take him back to shore. And then Brody goes out there on the police boat. It's very thin.
Anorexic.
Yeah.
As my guy Murtaugh would say. Maybe it was Riggs. I don't know. Available now in the archives. You want to go back and listen to the Lethal Weapon series. All 4 we've covered.
Do you want to make the Thunderbolt joke on this one?
Thunderbolt's a great movie.
This is a Jacques Cousteau nature documentary now.
You know what would make it more of a nature documentary? If there was a fucking shark!
There's a shark.
I mean, I'm so over, like, nothing happening.
Nothing happening.
And this, I mean, as in a vacuum,
right.
Scuba diving is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Rock, whatever you call that lobster. There's a stony, I forget what the name, there anyway. Like, that's interesting to me. But you know what?
As a narrative piece, this doesn't function.
We're in a horror movie.
There's no suspense, there's no tension, you're not building towards anything.
We're exploring a coral reef.
Right. It's not the IMAX movie at the Museum of Science and Industry,
right. I mean, come on.
You got this...
Even the music is serene and makes me want to...
Right. It's too chill. And then
you get the shark. Okay, great.
It's fine.
Oh, and it's burned.
It still looks fake.
It looks like Freddy Krueger.
It still looks worse than the first film. Yeah, and that's all that was.
That's it?
We just wasted like 3 minutes on that.
Did somebody at least get a bite out of him?
They didn't need to employ the other 10 people in the scene to go get scuba gear for them.
And now we've scared the guy. Okay.
Yeah. You just wasted... How much money you just wasted on hiring a dozen extra actors, all the scuba gear for a scene that amounted to...
How about...
Very little that didn't require that much.
Nobody seeing the shark.
Right. No one sees nothing.
How about the cost of filming that underwater sequence? Yeah. Underwater cameras are not cheap.
No.
And I bet you in 1978 they weren't cheaper than they are now.
Hell yeah.
And now we've got footage of the Regella or whatever you call that stupid boat race that
I mean, this is the point where the film is supposed to pick up. This is where the pace is supposed to quicken, and you're supposed to get momentum going, and just like it goes the opposite direction.
Listen to this
and now
music.
They're just using the music randomly.
Why? What about that scene required that music?
Nothing. You didn't even require that extra. You didn't even need to show that stuff.
Could we show the shark fin chasing?
I could have cut 4 minutes out of that sequence. That sequence could have lasted
a
minute tops.
That whole
from the start of the dive to the end of that piece where we come back to Brody.
Oh, that was 30 seconds is all we need for that. Yeah, 100%. Is that an urn full of matches?
It's some kind of...
It is. It's matches. Okay. To light the stove?
I suppose.
Copper pots, though. Those are nice. Not Oswald Copper Pot. No, it's Cobble Pot. Cobble, not copper. Oh, cheers. What do you do now? I don't know if you've ever woken up the day after not having a job anymore.
Oh, I have. You have too.
I have too. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, what do I do with my life?
Yeah, it's good, like, I don't know.
It is kind of...
It was the end of, like, 2002, and it was like, okay, now I'm just... Hey. So, whenever it was, I was just kind of hanging around in a bathrobe for half the day.
It is a little bit liberating. You're like, oh, I have no responsibility.
Yeah, it's around 20 years ago.
But at the same time, it's like, wait, I have bills that need to be paid.
Just kind of drifting aimlessly.
That's a cute little scene.
Mm-hmm.
I do love this.
Yeah.
He, now what is that? GMC. We falsely called it a Bronco earlier. Okay. Pardon us, it was a GMC Sierra.
That almost looked like the camera crew. Shadow on the...
Oh, yeah, on the grass?
Yeah, on the car. It could have been anything, but that's my first thought.
Yeah, well, yeah. As somebody who has made films, you are like everyone is
hyper aware of it.
Everyone is seen a boom mic or something drop into a shot,
sure.
But the shadows and the I always look in the mirrors to see if you can, or reflections in
all about the mirrors.
Somebody's eyeglasses, or a reflection in a clock or something, But you notice shadows of crew, cameramen. More.
I've had to mask some things out.
Yeah,
post it in sometimes. Little monitors on the cameras don't give you much detail to.
Your mom is getting uptight about the marks on your ass because you've been fucking
in the boat
in random places like the lighthouse or what. We really could have just cut to this scene a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then that's well done. I like this. Mm-hmm. We have look at us, an hour and 13-ish minutes in.
We're chugging along now.
Woo! Picking up the pace. Other films are getting ready to roll credits.
Yes.
And we are just now getting started. I do kind of like the visuals here. The bobbing of the boat and
Yeah, they're basically having a lot of the same problems they were on the first film, where And a lot of you're out in the middle of the sea, and you gotta keep correcting which way you're shooting the whole thing, depending on the light of the day and who's coming in and out in the background, and the wind changes, and so the sails start pushing it the other way, and now the salt water is corroding the metal inside the shark.
I can't even begin to imagine what it would feel like. Oof, good God. To get something bitten off of me.
His head should be cracked open.
Oh, yeah, he's dead.
He should be concussed, at least. Because when your head goes ramming into a fiberglass side of a boat, yeah, you're pretty much done for.
Well, at that speed, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, could have been decapitated. You'd almost want to lay down and try to go under it, you know. I do love these little small town touristy New England villages.
Yeah. Martha's Vineyard again for this.
Dock Street Coffee Shop over there on the right. Cheers to that. Who stops in the middle of the road? Blue Ford. Look at that fat kid on the motorbike there on the right. Love that. Martha's Vineyard, you said?
I believe that, yeah. Same location they shot the first one.
I've never been to Martha's Vineyard. Near Boston, right? Massachusetts area?
I think so.
And this is our diver guy, right?
Yeah, the guy who came up after spooked by the shark.
Nobody's asked him? And it's interesting, in the time of no social media, nobody would know that he's not the police chief anymore.
Well,
it happened so late that it wouldn't even be in the morning paper today until tomorrow.
It just depends how fast gossip spreads about the town.
Ooh, Captain Dave's Restaurant. I want to go there. Did they say that Mike was out? Did they know that the kids are out there?
There we go. Just found out. It's like he's not ready for this shit.
This deputy, or I guess now the chief,
yes.
I think he's a really good character.
Yeah.
Turn the lights on. Do something. Is a horn all you got? There's no sirens. I also can't imagine that he'd be able to just, summons a chopper.
Yeah.
At his convenience, I mean, granted, he said they were busy and they'd get to it, but...
Yeah.
Has nobody noticed that the other two... Oh, I guess they stayed behind a bone in the boat.
Yeah.
And then the old swerve of, oh, we're not actually going there. We're gonna go somewhere else, so that when the people of responsibility try to show up, they can't find them. How convenient. Lots more video here of everyone just having fun and nothing happening. Did they ever show what happened to these two?
Well, she's cowering in the
that's right.
the lip of the boat there.
That's right. Okay. That's right. All right. Which old boy up top would be able to see, right? She's not in there. Right? Is she in there? I couldn't tell. It's one of those things that now you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
It didn't look like she was in there. Unless she was really under there. But I think even at this point you'd be able to see her, right?
You'd imagine so, yeah. That's what I was
One
thinking.
of the three of them.
That's what I was thinking. Like, don't need to take this much time searching the boat. There's not much there.
No. She's wearing a red shirt. We would have been able to see that.
Yeah.
Come on. They did some really good makeup on her.
Yeah,
she's
here. All pale, flush.
Yeah, I mean, this girl is great.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'd buy that Tina has her own boat at the age of whatever she is, 16.
Yeah.
Unless the dad just named the boat after her or something and she took it out.
Maybe, yeah.
Then again, I don't live in a coastal sailing town either,
Sure.
so...
Yeah. I guess Lorraine, I think it's Gary, is it?
Mrs. Brody?
Yeah. I guess she was married to this Universal Studio executive, and he wanted her role expanded into the third act, where she goes on the boat with Chief and everything, Brody, and she goes in the third act with everyone else. And it was the original director who nixed that, and it's one of the reasons why he got kicked off the film.
I could see it.
Conflicting with them, but
I guess in a story sense, they're the two concerned parents go after their child.
Yeah,
two children.
Yeah. But when I was watching the scene originally, it's like, okay, yeah, I think Ellen should be comforting the traumatized girl. I think that feels right.
In retrospect, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
To have the motherly aspect of
take care of her, and he can go out and do his business.
Oh, finally, something.
Something.
Actual peril for this group of teenagers at the hour and 4 minute mark.
Oh.
And is he going to survive? Yes. Why? Why couldn't the shark eat him and then have everybody immediately...
Because you have to have 20 more minutes of fucking around in the story with people doing jack shit.
That's fine. You can have 20 more minutes of fucking around, but...
Yeah.
I don't know if we need Mike to get injured.
Right.
Clearly, all of this could have happened out of reaction to seeing their friend eaten alive.
Yeah,
sure. I think there needs to be more death and destruction.
Yeah, it just needs to be more lethality.
Yeah, this shark just goes around sniffing things.
If if you're going to inject this many random bodies into the film, you should have a body count.
Right. It's more egregious than things we've covered like Nightmare 5, or maybe Nightmare 6 even, where you get to the end and you're like, wait, how many people are still alive?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I didn't come here to the cinema and sit for 2 hours to watch kids sailing.
Yeah. A bunch of like false build up to no payoff.
Mike is concussed. Wouldn't it have been also slightly more dramatic to the story if one of the Brody children perished?
You could have that.
It would definitely make for sequel fodder, where the Brodys get divorced or the other one grows up to either be a shark hunter or afraid, like completely afraid.
Yeah.
There's any number of things.
Yeah. Open up possibilities.
Or is that looked at as too cliche?
That looked really bad.
But, yeah, it all looks bad.
It looks fucking terrible.
What's the difference between cliche, I'm going to eat the main character's kid, to I'm not going to eat any of these other kids?
Right. You're balancing between, okay, either we sacrifice a character that we do have some empathy for, or we just get rid of the wallpaper background fodder.
And now it's just going away.
No. I mean, in the latter case, okay, if you get rid of the background fodder that you don't care about, at least you still have at least a character you have some sort of connection with, continuing on to have some care about. You can have the frivolous people be the ones that get thrown out there and get chomped on. Then you still have some tension to the people one or two people you care about.
Well, yeah, there's at this point, like you're saying, if 2 or 3 of these kids got eaten, and then there was an actual threat towards, say, the youngest kid, where the older brother needs to protect his little brother, when clearly it's an issue because the shark is eating people all around me.
Right.
There's a scenario I can get behind.
Right.
Which is interesting because that's kind of how I remembered the film. When I saw it once a long, long time ago.
Okay.
And then I revisited it, I don't know, around the time we recorded the first ones, last summer.
Okay.
I watched all 4 of them in succession. And my memory of 2 was kind of this, like the big brother saving the little brother from all of the, with all of them out in the water. And then when I watched it, I went, that's not what happens.
No.
A, that scenario doesn't even come up until an hour and a half in. And B, that's not even the scenario. Mike's taken away.
Yeah.
And now he's on his own.
Like he's got no business being out here.
Yeah,
you don't know left from right out here.
Right, which actually is a decent storytelling device. Oh, yeah. He's at the lighthouse. Where are the kids? Oh, that's right. They went past the lighthouse. I would say, how about you just start driving around and seeing maybe what's on the other side? Oh, a whole lot of nothing is on the other side. We got a rat's nest of boats.
It's about how you feel at this point in watching the movie.
Yep, that's me.
It's about the time I texted you the other day. I was like, I can't believe there's another half an hour of this fucking movie.
I know.
Christ's
you did.
sakes.
He texted me. He pre-watched and he texted me. He's like, wait a minute. There's still 30 minutes to go? And that was like here.
Right about this point, yeah.
Why aren't they afraid? Now I get little Sally Field ends up becoming like out of her mind, scared.
Yeah, hysterics.
But none of the other ones.
Right. We're just
like they're just bored.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever happened. Having
with the sequence we just had with these characters, you should continue that terror forward until Brody gets there. Get your payoff credits. It should be wrapped up in 10 minutes from the point where we last left them. It should be wrapped up 10 minutes later.
All of that kind of sitting around boredom look on their faces would not exist had one of the kids been eaten in front of them in the last sequence.
Yeah, terrified.
And I get this jubilation of rescue.
Yeah. But you don't need it.
I actually don't mind the sequence.
Oh, no, I'm just saying it's another... The sequence is nice. It just... Again, the structural way, it's just elongating things that don't need to be elongated.
Like, did we need that insert shot?
Right.
And again,
how's he going to rescue the 10 people left on here? What are they going to do? Hang off the side?
They just say no, not like, oh hey,
it's all right.
Somebody is hurt and they're on their way back in.
Mm-hmm.
Good throw.
Nice catch.
I wonder how many tries that took. I love stuff like that.
Was he going to tow him in?
I think the idea is he's going to tow them over to the to the island or whatever that.
Yeah, I've never seen that done before.
Pumping station or whatever.
Have a chopper tow a boat. I've never seen that before.
And if you recall from what feels like 3 hours ago, they set up that vibrations.
Yes. Attract the shark. Right.
This feels like a mid-second act beat of the story.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. I mean, it's a fun sequence here.
In and of itself, it's fine. Yeah, it's just
we've taken
where we
too
are in
long.
The story, it's not pulling the threads together. Chief Brody is our main thread. He needs to be here right now doing his stuff, and he's not.
Right. This could have happened. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But we didn't need 20 minutes of the kids getting here or whatever.
Right. The film has a spike, then it lulls down, then it gets nothing up, then it lulls down again.
It'd be fun to go back and edit this movie down.
Sure, yeah.
And do a RavensFilm edit.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I could play around with that.
Comes in at 91 minutes. It's tight. It's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Although we can't add scenes like the kid getting eaten, which really need. I hate to harken back, and keep saying things, but we're still in the first half of Jaws 1.
Right.
Really. There's finally been enough incidents for people to start believing that it's actually a shark.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, nobody even dies in this part of it either.
I don't think so.
Like, how many opportunities are you going to have that you just squander away? Oh, wait. I take that back. I think he gets her right here.
Okay, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that's what sends her into hysterics. Which clearly could have been the scene before.
That could have been 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It should have been 15 minutes ago.
And now we have finally at the hour 35-minute mark,
Someone actually starts to believe.
We have the moment where they all come around and go, oh, you're right. It actually was a shark. Dramatic irony.
And they can't do anything about it anyway, so what does it matter?
Now let's spend 5 minutes of him getting there.
Exactly.
Please.
I mean,
can we just go a little slower?
The pacing is just... I mean, I don't know the credentials of the editor who was on this film. I mean, I know there would have been some Hollywood editors with a solid track record that probably would have told the director, let's lean into just chopping a lot of this out because it does not move. Because I can see, it's like with Richard Donner, because there's a 3-hour version of Superman the movie that I have. They released it on Blu-ray and everything, but
the original one from
Chris Reeve and all that, which came out the same year as this. But okay, his editor on the film.
Where did this storm come from, by the way?
I don't know.
There was no talk of a storm. There was no. It just all of a sudden storm. Yeah. Go on with your story.
But yeah, so Donner's editor is Stuart Baird, who is well established as a very, very top tier editor in Hollywood by later on standards. But regardless of that, he aggressively told Donner, "You don't need all this stuff. Let's get rid of this and chop this thing out and get this out of here. Make the film move and function with a flow to it." If you had an editor like that on this, I could definitely see this thing getting 20 minutes cut out of it. Easily.
Sure. Yeah, I think it comes in at $1.55.
Yeah.
And there's really the longest would be 100 minutes that it needs to be.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't mind this either. You know, clearly now
it's a little bit of tension.
He's, you know.
It's a little drama. That's all I'm really asking. Just if you're going to have scenes with these characters, at least have some kind of drama to it. Some kind of stakes.
You got to have stakes. And the problem, as we addressed earlier, is there's just too many of them.
Right. Again, just like I said, there's too many peaks and valleys. And peaks and valleys are good in a story, but at a certain point you have to maintain a certain escalating momentum. You can't just hit a beat and then just drop down and come back up and go back down. You can't. When you're in this phase of the movie, it has to keep going forward. You can't just keep slowing it down every 2 minutes.
Right, to have
going back down. You're up for about 2 minutes, then you're down for about another 6 minutes. Then you're back up for like another minute or so, and then it just...
Shots like this, they want it to be this sweeping epic, almost. You know what I mean? You
had a little drama there, but then there's no shark again to have an escalation.
Right.
And now we're still back down in a lull. And there's still 16 minutes to go. We should be rolling credits at this point in time.
Oh, 100%.
How you'd be structuring this film properly. You know, a lot of the reviews at the time were highlighting all these issues we had. That it's not so much just as too long, it's just not as engaging of a film. It's too slow. It's too plodding. It's not as engaging.
It does. What the part of the beauty of the first one, aside from Scheider being like just so good, but you also had Quint and you had Richard Dreyfuss, and each of them kind of had their own. Obviously they were very distinct, well-written characters, but they all had their own like objectives and story. And this one, we've eliminated that and said it's just Brody, and therefore it exacerbates that the time when the kids are on the screen and Brody's not, it's more noticeable.
And it's also the thing, Brody hasn't seen a shark in this film. There's been no moment where he's actually seen the shark to have that moment.
God damn it, you're right.
Where you have that beat on the orca in the first film, the classic line, you're going to need a bigger boat. That's a very... That moment injects a lot into the movie. Once Brody sees that shark, he knows the danger that's going on. That really makes the whole thing sink into the whole film. At this point, I mean, Scheider's character, he's not really in a state of terror or fear or anything like that. He's just here, okay, I'm going to go grab him and bring him back. There's no fear of the shark present for him. Not really. You know, he feels there's danger out here, but he hasn't physically seen the shark to have it really be a realization that everything he's been on about the whole film is actually happening.
Right. Even that last diver, he just went based off of the bite mark on the thing.
Yeah, the traumatized girl. Yeah, she says shark and everything, but still, you don't feel that intensity from Scheider here. That's not injected into his character.
Oh, Larry. Larry Jr., I think, right? Because isn't the mayor also named Larry?
Yeah.
Can't they use something to like... Yeah.
Yeah. But again...
Yeah, but I mean, if they used like a paddle or a piece of wood to kind of...
Mm-hmm. But this doesn't last long because, again, the shark comes back.
Which I guess is a blessing for us, the viewer.
Yeah.
Like, please just something happen.
Mm-hmm. Mars getting
and why did it
lynched in the rocks down there?
Why did it have to be Mike to get injured and him to reveal to the dad that Sean's out there? Why couldn't it have just been anybody? Like, oh, both of your kids were okay.
Yeah.
Because I really think that now this is great.
Yeah, she's good.
But
really good.
I really think the brother dynamic that they've spent the whole movie setting up.
They need to have those two together.
That Sean looks up to
Mike needs to be taking
Mike.
care of the kid.
And Mike, who, he let him come out here.
Right.
They need to be on this journey.
You need to have Mike trying to comfort him while Mike's also being scared of the situation, but trying to calm him down.
Protect his brother.
Right. You need to have that dynamic there.
What a poor choice. What a poor choice to have Mike be the one to go away. The only point of that was to have him reveal...
I've kind of lost track. Okay, when did Mike and the other kids get broken off from these guys?
Mike got hit in the head, and they sailed away to take him back to shore.
Okay.
And happened to run into Brody on the way.
Okay.
Which, the whole point of that was for Mike to reveal to the dad that Sean was out there.
Yeah.
It could have been any character to tell him that both sons were out there.
Right.
They needed to be together.
Yeah.
Now that boat you could fit everybody on.
Yes. No problem.
Except he doesn't know how to drive a boat.
He ain't got a fucking clue what he's doing here, man.
What do you mean you can't? I don't know. I guess,
I can't get over it. It does look a lot worse than the first one. One of the critics at the time said, looks like it just sailed in off of the Universal Studios ride.
Yeah.
Just a lot cheaper looking.
Excuse me. Yeah, it looks bad.
Mm.
And I don't know if I'd buy that as a plot point. He accidentally grounded himself on the island. You know,
Yeah. A little bit by this point, the audience's brains have kind of gone a little...
Well, everybody left and got up to
a little
the
bit of a
bathroom.
malaise to start.
They're in a popcorn coma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their soda's gone. They got to go get a refill.
Taking a piss break.
And as soon as they come back, they'll realize that they didn't miss anything.
You didn't miss jack fucking crap for the last 20 minutes.
Aside from one kid getting eaten.
Where, again, there's like 10 kids floating out here. You probably wouldn't even realize it.
Aside from the one kid getting eaten, we're all in the same exact position that we were in a half hour ago.
Nothing of consequence has happened.
What is the point of this? What is he trying to accomplish here?
I guess they're trying to pull closer. They're trying to break themselves loose. I don't know what's going on, really.
I also don't know about the power lines just laying.
Oh, it's so bad. Can't help it.
You know, I'm not as offended by it as you are.
No, I just can't. Not like offended by it, but just like it's showing too much of it when it doesn't look that good to show it off that much. That's all I'm saying.
And the one girl's absolutely losing her shit.
Oh, well, you know, like I said earlier,
that's
really
a real
good.
shark.
Yeah, that's the real deal. Yeah, like I said earlier, that girl's really good in this whole damn movie. Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe something's going to happen?
No, she just gets grazed. Nothing of consequence.
Oh. But she is now bleeding, which would make... I don't know. Doesn't the shark like blood? Want to turn around and... What are you going to do with that dinghy?
I was going to say, the shark is going to eat that thing for lunch. It's a snack.
Also, though, the shark has now eaten a couple different people. Why is it still hungry? Does he know what that is?
I don't know. He does now.
Because he wasn't on the boat when the
that was
other
Hendrix
two.
and the old man of the sea. What the fuck? No, Scheider.
I don't know if they... like I was saying, I don't know if they'd lay these on the... don't they bury the power lines?
I would imagine so. You wouldn't just have them floating out there.
For this exact reason, right?
Yes,
what's
it's
to
hazardous.
What's to keep any old anchor from snagging on a power line?
Sure. She's a screamer indeed.
One of the original Scream Queens. You burnt face pussy?
Oh. Pussy.
God bless Kincaid. Oh. That's what this movie needs, is a Kincaid.
Oh, straight the hell up, man.
Create those vibrations, right? Good vibrations. As a climax, I guess this is okay. I just wish it would have happened a long time ago.
Yeah,
we didn't need to take this long to get here.
No. Another one of the critic quotes like, "How many for entertaining, exciting 2 hours?" Like, I don't know what movie you were watching, pal. Excitement is not the key word on this film. Now it goes away. Then it'll come back.
Well, that's because that was a real shark.
When there's 5 minutes left of the movie, they can't keep the pace up. It's like the film gets winded too much. It's got to take a time.
Did they think that we're all just holding our breath here?
No, I sure as hell ain't.
Like, even as if I was a first-time viewer, I'd say, well, at least I know what he's trying to do,
yeah.
But how about he do it? Something happen, please.
Right.
I get, he's trying to coax it, which... Have we ever really addressed why a second shark has come to town? And
No.
I do kind of like the overhead shots. I think
those are effective.
Very ominous. I like the kid screaming.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
That's a great shot. And that's not a great shot.
No.
Like, what are we looking at? This looks like the Universal ride.
Yes, it is. More like the King Kong ride, actually.
Would that actually happen when you bite a power line?
I don't think so.
Would there be flames?
No.
Cute kid.
Eyes are smoking.
I was going to say there's smoke coming out of his eye hole. Shut up. I don't know.
It's a little anticlimactic.
Is it dead? Did you actually just ask that, you stupid bastard? Come on. Let's just get to the end of this thing. I do love their dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
And now what? Like, what? Logically, as, a viewer, you're going to roll credits on these three in the dinghy. Oh, man. I don't know. Far too long.
Yeah.
I know at some point we're probably going to cover Jaws 3D.
Oh, yeah.
which, as bad of a film as it is, it's 90 minutes. It's pretty succinct. It's stupid as hell, but it's at least fun and...
It's enough to laugh at.
Right, it's fun and entertaining. It's entertaining. This was a drama.
Yeah.
And kind of like... I've always said The Exorcist is not really a horror film. It's just a drama with some horror elements in it, which I would lump this in that same category. But at least The Exorcist, I don't know, tells me a story that takes 2 hours to tell.
It's a... What's the word I'm looking for? It's deliberately paced. It has very specific beats to hit along its story that are very effective. There was this one odd critic quote from Texas Monthly. The critic said, I prefer Jaws 2 over the original because it's less insidious in its methods of manipulation, which God knows what the fuck that means. Because the director of this film streamlines the terror by cross-cutting among the teenagers, Scheider and the officials' effort to rescue them. The director works up enough suspense to keep the adrenaline going. Did you feel any adrenaline in this movie?
I never once had adrenaline.
There's no adrenaline in this movie. It's like
this cup of coffee that I've got in my hand is giving me more adrenaline.
Yeah, giving me more of the shakes of this film. Well, I mean, again, as we said at the beginning, we are really leaning into a lot about the whole film. It's not a bad movie.
Right.
It has admirable qualities. It's just... It's not structured very well. It's not paced very well. And the editing... I mean, the general editing is... It's not like there's inherently, like, bad things edited together in an incoherent fashion. It's just like the editor needed to succinct this damn thing down to about 95 minutes tops.
Some material may not be suitable for preteens. Well, I'm glad that's over.
Yeah. We kept ourselves more entertained through it than we expected.
Yeah, we did think it was going to be pretty dry, but I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's more dry than... Well, it's equally dry to some of the people that never even got in the water in this movie.
Yes. But anyway, guys, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the whole film, and we'll be back with other great stuff soon. So, thanks much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.